Are we witnessing a seismic shift in global alliances? Once sought after, NATO membership has taken a back seat as powerful countries now clamor to join a new alliance, BRICS. While BRICS may not have posed a significant threat to the United States in the past, the tides are turning. What has prompted this sudden interest in BRICS? Which countries are vying for membership? And what could it mean for the United States? Could BRICS potentially emerge as the most powerful alliance, even rivaling NATO? Join us as we delve into this intriguing phenomenon and explore the implications of BRICS's rise on the world stage. In the aftermath of World War II, countries recognized the advantages of forming alliances for mutual benefit, whether in terms of security or economic growth. Against this backdrop, the United States took the lead in establishing NATO, aiming to establish a robust military presence worldwide. However, as times have changed, there has been a shift in global priorities. The focus now lies in creating economically powerful alliances, as nations have realized that a strong economy is a cornerstone of power. This realization led to the creation of BRICS, comprising 5 member countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Initially, BRICS received little attention from the Western Bloc, possibly due to its perceived low significance and limited threat. While the United States continued to lead NATO and maintained its dominance in international trade, including the lucrative oil market, it pursued its economic interests through forums like the G7 and G20. This era brought relative tranquility for the Western Bloc, allowing them to downplay the emergence of any other powerful military and economic alliances. However, what surprised many was the rapid growth exhibited by the 5 BRICS member countries. Notably, China and India stood out as the fastest-growing economies, driven by their vast populations and high production rates. Together, these 2 nations account for a staggering 2.74 billion people out of the world's total population of 7 billion. Today, BRICS is leaving the US-led G7 bloc behind, as it represents a remarkable 41% of the global population compared to the G7's mere 16%. Furthermore, within BRICS, China, Russia, and India possess formidable military capabilities, further bolstering the alliance's strength. This shift in the global balance of power poses intriguing questions about the future trajectory of international relations and the potential implications for the United States. In 2021, the GDP growth of BRICS member countries surpassed that of the G7 nations, with a rate of 6.26% compared to 5.15% for the G7. However, it's important to note that the economic size of the G7 still outweighs that of BRICS, accounting for 62% of the world economy compared to BRICS' 25%. Nevertheless, this disparity is expected to diminish as more countries seek membership in BRICS after witnessing the remarkable growth achieved by China and India within the alliance. Even wealthy nations like Saudi Arabia have expressed keen interest in joining BRICS, signaling a growing appeal and recognition of the alliance's economic potential. Over the years, BRICS has successfully emerged as an independent economic alliance, distancing itself from the influence of the United States and the dominance of the US dollar. Since the advent of globalization, countries have been compelled to adopt the US dollar for international trade, particularly in sectors like oil, where the USD reaped significant benefits and maintained its value. As a result, countries had to accumulate USD reserves, making them vulnerable to US sanctions. This vulnerability was exemplified when the UK froze Russia's $300 billion in USD reserves following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Such actions warn nations that the US could use its power unjustly to manipulate and control wealth stored in USD. Recognizing the risks associated with relying on US-controlled banking and financial institutions like SWIFT, IMF, and the World Bank, BRICS took a proactive step by establishing its own banking system, the New Development Bank. Russia, in particular, has already converted a significant portion of its foreign reserves into other currencies and assets, including the yuan, poised to become a potential rival to the USD. As the influence of BRICS grows, many countries have expressed their desire to join the alliance. The Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has indicated that BRICS could expand to include 15 to 17 member nations in the near future. Algeria, Argentina, and Iran have already applied for membership, while countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, Afghanistan, and Indonesia have shown strong interest. China has also mentioned that countries such as Kazakhstan, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Senegal, Thailand, and the UAE are in line to join BRICS. This widespread attraction to the powerful alliance underscores the shifting dynamics in the global landscape. The potential addition of these countries to BRICS would significantly amplify the alliance's economic strength and population size, surpassing that of both the G7 and G20. The recent surge in attention towards BRICS can be attributed to Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Saudi Arabia, which was crucial in shaping the geopolitical landscape. Russia, a BRICS member, influenced the reduction in oil supply by Saudi Arabia. During President Xi Jinping's recent visit to Saudi Arabia, he was warmly welcomed by the entire kingdom. This visit solidified the alignment of interests between China and Saudi Arabia. Notably, the oil trade between the two countries has been ongoing for some time, but new agreements were forged during Xi's visit, marking a historic milestone. To understand the significance of this visit, it's essential to highlight the actions of Saudi Arabia towards U.S. President Joe Biden during his previous visit to the kingdom. Biden had requested Saudi Arabia to increase oil supply in the international market to lower energy prices. However, the response Biden received was quite the opposite. Saudi Arabia decreased its oil supply. This shift in policy signaled a significant change within the kingdom, with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman consolidating his power and silently indicating the direction in which he wanted Saudi Arabia to lean. Saudi Arabia's agreement with China to accept payment for its oil in the Chinese currency, the yuan, rather than the US dollar, is of particular significance. This unprecedented move sends shockwaves through the international financial system, as it marks the first time a country of Saudi Arabia's oil-rich stature has made such a decision. By accepting payment in yuan, Saudi Arabia challenges the dominance of the US dollar in global trade and signifies a potential shift in the balance of power between currencies. The significance of this development lies in the potential shift in the global currency landscape and its implications. As previously discussed, when a currency gains widespread use in international trade, its value tends to rise rapidly. This attracts countries to accumulate that currency in their foreign reserves, as it promises to outperform other currencies worldwide. With Saudi Arabia's willingness to accept the Chinese yuan, BRICS member countries recognize that the yuan's value is likely to increase. Consequently, they seek to increase their yuan holdings and reduce their reliance on the US dollar, which could lead to a decline in its value. The significance of this development is that, without explicitly stating it, BRICS aims to challenge the dominance of the US dollar and establish the yuan as the new international currency. The US has long benefited from the petrodollar system, which has been instrumental in maintaining its global power. However, with the potential disruption caused by BRICS, this power structure faces continuous shocks. This has captured significant attention because it raises the question of whether BRICS could evolve into a 17-member alliance, potentially surpassing the influence of NATO. The combined strength of China and Russia already poses a formidable challenge that the US views with concern. This prompts speculation as to whether countries from NATO and the Western Bloc might consider aligning with BRICS, potentially leading to the US's defeat in terms of financial and geopolitical influence. In light of these developments, countries now face a choice if they wish to maintain their position on the global stage. They must align themselves with the emerging dominant force. The question remains, will BRICS evolve into a 17-country alliance, and will more countries join to make it even more powerful than NATO? Can BRICS successfully challenge the dominance of the US dollar by promoting the yuan as the new international currency, potentially reshaping the global financial system? The growing cooperation between China and Russia has already created a robust bloc that has caught the attention of the US. It remains to be seen whether countries from NATO and the Western Bloc will eventually consider joining BRICS, potentially signaling a significant shift in power dynamics. So there you have it. Be sure to leave a comment. And before you leave, why not like and subscribe? See you next time.